Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 in VR. This is a kind of video that I've not done for a while. However, I've been noticing that one of the, videos that's been getting the most views and the steadiest amount of views is actually a VR video on the Honda RA272. So it gave me the idea, what's another car that's fairly new, terrifying to drive in VR, especially in wet conditions? And well, it was this, the Super Formula SF23. So we're gonna go and head over to Suzuka and do a 3-lap sprint race. And in all honesty, well, I thought the Honda was terrifying. Well, this Honda is much more scary. As you can see, we are in VR. We are absolutely pushing it in torrential rain conditions at Suzuka. And straight away we are basically going to be slipping and sliding all over the place, having to be stupidly gentle on the throttle. If we're kind of overly aggressive, it would absolutely kick the rear out, and then you've got to try and rein it back in whilst trying to fight in the middle of a pack. It was just an absolutely awesome experience. And if you do have VR and you've not tried out the SF23 in VR, well, you're missing out. This is something I fully recommend anyone to do. And in all honesty, if you're kind of looking around and thinking about purchasing a VR headset, I would absolutely recommend it, especially now they're, in retailers, they're much more widely available. This is certainly a good time to pick one up and just experience it for yourself, as well as I can, kind of put it in, video form. It really doesn't give you the full experience of actually just being there. Even these SF23 cars look absolutely massive when you're racing side by side, and in all honesty, the speed, the spray, the flames popping out the back of these cars is just something to absolutely behold. And it's probably one of the, most visceral racing experiences that I've ever had within a racing game, and it really is added kind of next level with that VR headset. As you can see, we're trying to make our way up through the grid. The only trouble is with GT7's AI, they're a little bit, rubbish at certain parts of the track. Mainly the fact that they don't use the overtake button and you basically fly past them on the straights, which is a bit of a shame and kind of pulls you out of the experience. But apart from that, going through the corners side by side and such is absolutely terrifying. When you're kind of there and you're just constantly watching over your shoulder, making sure you've left enough room and try not to spin around this absolutely insane vehicle, it's just something like you just couldn't believe. So we're coming up to the end of lap 1, and as you can see, we've made up a decent few positions. There's still quite a bit of the pack ahead, and we're going to clatter it down the main straight and hopefully make a few moves, which is made all too easy by the fact that the AI just doesn't seem to want to go anywhere, well, quick at all. So we're going to ride in the slip, pull straight out, and in all honesty, it's just going to give us a nice run down the straight. As you can see, just waving past all the cars, and then we're going to come into the right-hander here, which is much quicker than it looks. But this one here, where it begins to slow down a bit more, I did notice many times when I've kind of ran this event and kind of set up these races in the wet, in the Super Formula and such. If I'm a bit too, trigger happy or whatever you want to call it, on that throttle, it will absolutely kick the rear end out. As you can see, I'm just trying to keep the gears as high as possible without absolutely, killing off the momentum that we've got through these corners. Certainly need to be in a higher gear than you would usually be to kind of get yourself through these corners and keep it nice and steady. As you can see, the rear end beginning to come out there as we try and make a move on the SF19 Honda, and then we're going to try and dive on the inside there, get it side by side, over the curb we go. We do manage to get past the SF23 there, the Honda model, only just though. As you can see, now it's a case of just absolutely getting the power down. We're going to get it a little bit on the grass, dirty the tyres up, and that's not going to help us one bit. So we've only got a few more cars in the pack left. As you can see, we've got one of the SF19 Toyotas. I believe there's one of the SF23 Toyotas, and then out front we've got the SF23 Honda, which we are currently driving here. As you can see, the rear end catching us out there, but we do manage to pull it back a little bit. We're going to back out of that move and just not try and put it up the inside too early and absolutely wreck our race. So we are following in a pack here. It's all about trying to get the drive out of here. We know that AI is going to be absolutely stupidly slow as we get the rear end kicking out there. We do manage to catch it. Quick check of the wind mirror, and down the straight we go. So we are managing to close up here. We're going to try and pull it out to the left. We'll get through one. Are we going to get past another? Yes, we are. And that just leaves one more car to overtake. Luckily, we've got another straight coming up. We know we can use the overtake and just get that move done fairly early. into the lap, and that is going to allow us a nice free lap for the final lap. As you can see, we're going to go into the left-hander there, try and keep it in the slip. Just the throttle absolutely has to be the key here. If you put it down too much, as you can see, it's just going to slip. We're getting the back end out there, and then eventually we are going to pull into the slipstream, and we're going to get that move done, which allows us a nice free lap. So after the lap was done, we're going to round the final few corners into the right-hander, into the left, trying to keep it just nice and steady and not spin ourselves around. We're going to run down to the line, and it's going to be a fairly easy win in the end. Sadly, just the AI was the only thing letting us down, but absolutely overall a terrifying drive, but some of the most fun you can have in VR. So let's go ahead and check out VR replay. So as you can see, we're going to get started, and this mode is just absolutely awesome. One thing I did notice was just the sights and sounds, really, and all the flames popping off. It really does stand out in wet conditions, and I'm going to show you a few of my personal favourite highlights, especially on the opening lap where we're trying to make as many moves up the grid as we can. As you can see, we're going into the left-hander here. We've already got one. Are we going to manage to make any more moves on the run-up? As you can see, we're just following just behind one of the Toyotas at this point, as we managed to gap last position, which just seemed to be driving insanely slow at this point. So into the left-hander we are going to go, and as you can see, we are still just behind. We're basically just trying to get the run out as the rear end kicks out there. I don't think you realise how much it actually kicks out until you see it in a replay. It looks absolutely incredible as all the cars come thundering past. We're going to try it up the inside there. Are we going to get that one done? Not quite just yet. And then again into the right-hander, all the cars kind of packed up and going rather quite slow because they're tripping over each other, and this is going to allow us a nice run out of that right-hander up the hill into the left-hander here. And as you can see, the rear end again slipping out on this car, as we're going to try and get a decent run as the Honda tries to make a move on the Toyota. We're also going to try and get involved there. I believe the Honda did just get that move done, and then we're going to get the run on basically both of them, really. So let's talk about some of the camera angles you actually get. So the way the VR replay works, if you're not a VR player, you won't know this. It essentially gives you a kind of music replay style. Now, to basically get the full experience, I honestly just mute the music and just let it play out with the pure sound. I think some of the sounds of these cars as they're kind of whizzing past you is just absolutely awesome, especially if you've had a really good race and you've done some side-to-side battling, or you're in some tricky conditions and stuff. I honestly think it looks fantastic, and it's one of the kind of least utilised features of VR. You know, we all know at this point that racing in VR is just absolutely awesome. It's something that, you know, once you've kind of done, it's difficult to kind of go back to a flat screen. But in all honesty, the VR replay for me is just one of my favourite features. You know, the showroom's kind of cool and all that, but really where it's at for me is just watching back some of these, I guess, older replays that I may have done in like flat and stuff, and then kind of go back and watch them in VR. It's just so cool. So as you can see, we're going on to lap 2. We've made a few decent moves here, and this is really going to be our last lap of proper battling with the AIs. We're trying to go around the outside there, not quite getting it. That, honestly, I just remember that Honda looking absolutely massive from the inside of the car. Again, we're just going to follow him around, not really going to make a stupid move and kind of just bin us both off. But we are going to get a much better run out of one of the corners in a minute. As you can see, we're just so close. We're going to try it around the outside again, not quite going to work. Dip back inside into the left-hander, and then we are going to follow the car straight out of the corner, get a much better run, and it's going to be job done in no time. As you can see, some of the more back markers we're coming past there. We're going to get it done over the curb. We're going to actually get 2 in 1 there, so that's where we just got past that SF23 Honda, having to kind of clatter that over the curb there, and then we are going to get it on the grass a little bit. I think a bit of kind of lacking concentration there. There's just so much to look at in these cars, the detail, that it really can be off-putting at times. So we're going to get the drive out of that part there, out of the hairpin, and down we go. As you can see, getting a bit more of a slip there, the rear end just kind of jiggling about. Obviously no traction control on this car here. I do like the more kind of raw driving experience. I love it when the car's kind of moving about in the wet conditions. I just feel like it just absolutely cannot be beat for just the way the cars feel, and especially in VR, it really is some kind of weird edgy feeling. It's just absolutely incredible to behold. As you can see, we've got a slip out of there. We are going to manage to basically get the run down there, though. We've got the overtake button on the go, and and we are going to make a few moves. The AI just really kind of slow through there, which is a little bit disappointing. Into the left-hander, as you can see, we are making a decent amount of positions. We've got ourselves up into P2 after that. One more car to go, and then we are going to inherit the leaders. A couple of the P3 and P4, they're kind of battling it out. And yeah, we are going to get the run straight out the corner, putting the power down, and across the line we go. We're a little bit of a slip, and there we go. We're going to basically get our momentum together, get the move done straight across the line, side by side. There we go, and that is the move done. So there we have it. Again, it's always nice to kind of go back and do a bit of VR content. You know, I just kind of saw that, you know, in terms of, I guess, views over a long period of time, there must still be that interest in VR, and it seems like not too many people are really covering it. It was kind of a splash in the ocean for a lot of people, but myself personally, I absolutely love going back to VR and just kind of testing out these weird and wacky cars that are in the game. So if there is anything specifically you want to see, leave it down in the comments. I will try my best to get around to it as soon as possible, especially if it's kind of, you know, the more weirder and wackier of a car, then, you know, the more fun I'm going to obviously have. So don't forget to leave those suggestions down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. It's always nice to do another bit of VR content for you guys. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Like I said, also leave those cars in the description. Have a fantastic day, guys. I'll have my Discord, my Twitter and all that good stuff in the description down below, and I'll see you later on, guys. Peace.